Hi, this is Sandra Edmond, Queen of Tax Deeds with your Tip Tuesday. So I wanted to go over today with you real quick. Sometimes you'll be looking at the tax deed auctions, whether online or whether it's an in-person auction, and you'll see a status or something that says abandoned as sometimes the status or the result of that sale. So what that means when you see abandoned, well, first of all, let me back up and explain the process. Before you can bid at the auction, you do need to put a 5% deposit, 5% of whatever the high bid is. So if you end up winning the bid, you got to put 5% down, whether online or in person. So if it's online, then a couple days before the sale, each auction has its own deadline and tells you how to make sure you meet the deadline. You got to make sure you send that amount in, and you can determine that by whatever the highest price you want to pay and just take 5% of that and just make sure you have it available in the online auction. If it's an in-person auction, much easier. You just have it in your back pocket, in your purse, wherever, or in here. Okay, so one of the things that you might see is it might say abandoned. So what happens with abandoned? Well, the person did get their deposit in and they bid at the auction, they won the property and probably did their happy dance. I always tell people, it's your happy dance when you get a deal. So then within 24 hours or the same day, they had to submit their deposit, their balance, the balance. Right? So let's say you won it and it's like $100,000 and you submitted your deposit. Let's say it was like, $5,000. So you submitted the $5,000. You still have $95,000 that you have to submit into the sale. So if you don't submit the $95,000 in time, they consider that abandoned. You basically lose out. So you don't get the property if you don't get the balance of the money into the auction on time, whether it's online or in person. Each auction will tell you, whichever method you're paying, this is how to get the money in. Why would somebody abandon the property? Because either they didn't realize the deadlines to get their money in, or they bought something that they should not have bought. They made a mistake, which is a huge problem. You want to do all your due diligence before you bid on the property. You don't want to wait till after you buy the property to go out and go look at it, or send somebody to go look at it, and then you come to find out, oh, there's no house on the lot. The picture on Google Maps or in the property appraiser shows a house, but guess what? That is not a most recent picture. A lot of those pictures are old. It's up to you to find somebody to go out there. It could be that the property is not even buildable. It could be a number of reasons why this happens, okay? So you don't want to be caught with having something that's abandoned, because sometimes what they're going to do is ban you from coming back to the sale. So either it's like a 6-month ban, 1-year ban, or don't ever come back. They could be those banned. So let me tell you about a time where I actually, on purpose, abandoned a piece of property. Why? Well, there were several properties that I was looking at, and one out of like the 5 properties I was looking at had like this huge spider's web going from like the tree in the front yard, like a branch, all the way down to the ground, like huge. And I'm afraid of spiders. I hate big spiders, the big ones. Those like wolf spiders, really huge ones. And this was like a huge spider's web. So I knew it had come from a huge spider. So I was like, you know what? I think I am not going to even go up to this house. So I got out of the car and saw the spider's web and got right back in the car. So I didn't even bother going up to the house, knocking on the door or looking through the window or anything like that. So I was like, you know what? I'll just go based on what I see outside. And I'm like, okay, this is a good neighborhood too. I think this house maybe might need $20,000 in work. So I go to the auction and I bid on all 5 properties. And which one did I end up winning? The one that I didn't go up to. They have no idea what the inside looks like and have no idea how much work it needs. So now that I got the spider house, I go to the neighbor next door because he's out, and I start chatting with him, and he's like, oh yeah, that house is terrible. It's got 3 holes in the roof. It's been raining on the inside of that house for 5 years. There's rats running through there. I was like, oh my God. So I said, can you show me? He goes, hey, the back door is open. I was like, well, can you go over there with me? Because there were some spider webs and I'm scared of spiders. So can you go over there with me? He's like, sure. So he goes over there with me. He opens the door and he peeks his head through and he's like, I see this, that, whatever. And so I give him my phone. I was like, can you shoot a video of what you're seeing? Because like right above where he is, they're like spider webs right there. So I don't even want to stick my head in there. So he puts my phone in there and I see it. I'm like, oh my God, this is like a $50,000 rehab. So I was like, you know what? I'm just not going to pay for this property. I'm just going to leave it. So on that particular one, I won the auction and I decided not to pay for that property and just leave it. So that's what abandon is. So they probably banned me. I just, self-decided not to go to that auction for the next 6 months because they probably were going to ban me because I didn't pay the balance. So that's what abandon means. And just know, the one you don't do your homework on, there's a high chance you're going to end up winning that property. So what you want to do is make sure you understand how to do your due diligence. I teach you all of that online on my class, Tax Deeds at Your Fingertips. It's similar to my boot camp, except for it's an online version. There are multiple sessions that you can do online through video at your own pace. And then you do like 2 sessions with me over Zoom. And then, you can chat with me and ask questions and things like that. So that's Tax Deeds at Your Fingertips. It's Sandra Edmond. I am the Queen of Tax Deeds. You also can come to the in-person class, which is the 2-day boot camp. It's called the 2-day field trip. But if you want to get started right now and learn how to do all that so you don't end up stuck with something that you don't want, and you don't want to end up being banned from a sale or having to abandon your bid, because let's say abandon your deposit, because if you submit the deposit and you don't pay the balance, they don't give your deposit back because they're going to use that deposit to put on the next sale. All right. So anyway, be sure to follow me, like, and be friends with me on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram. Happy investing. And once again, this is the Queen of Tax Deeds, Sandra Edmond.